Hey, fourth graders. I'm going to do a study guide review for topic 14 so that you can get some help studying for your test that's on Friday, May 1st. So let's go ahead and start right away. So we got topic 14. This was the topic that was on measurement units and conversions, which can be very confusing only because it's very hard to memorize all of the different conversions and things like that. So um, hopefully you guys can memorize some of them. And let's just dig in and we're gonna and see what you guys remember. Okay, so here we go. So number one, a textbook has a mass of 6 kilograms. What is its mass in grams? Circle the correct answer for Lydia. So we need to change it from 6 kilograms into grams. Okay, so over here I have my whiteboard that I'm going to write on. So we have 6 kilograms, but we need to change that to grams, or it's also just a G for grams. So I know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. See, even I need to look at my little sheet that I made myself. So 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So that means 2 kilograms are going to be equal to 2,000 grams. 3 kilograms will be equal to 3,000 grams. And you guys, we can just keep going. 4 kilograms is equal to 4,000 grams. So that means that 5 kilograms is equal to 5,000 grams. So then 6 kilograms is going to be equal to 6,000 grams. Now, a little bit easier of a way to do this. Oops, sorry. An easier way to do this would be to take that 1 kilogram, and we know that's equal to 1,000 grams. And if we need to get it to 6, we know that if we multiply this by 6, we get 6 kilograms. So that means we're just going to multiply this 1,000 by 6, and we get 6,000 kilograms. So that's an easier way to do it, is to use multiplication. So we're going to use lots of multiplication throughout this whole thing. We may even use a little bit of division. So our answer for number 1 would be A, 6,000. Let's look at number 2. Adrian needs 4 pounds of cherries to make a pie. How many ounces of cherries does Adrian need for his pie? Okay, so let's switch to red because we're working with cherries here. So number 2. So Adrian needs 4 pounds. The abbreviation for pounds is LB. Don't ask me why. It's kind of a silly abbreviation. 4 pounds of cherries. How many ounces of cherries is that? Okay, well, I know that 1 pound of cherries is equal to 16 ounces. So like we did before, we can keep going and say, okay, well, then 2 pounds would be whatever 16 plus 16 is, right? Which would be 32 ounces. Now we can keep going until we get to 4, or we can do it the easier way. If we know that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces, then we can times that by 4 to get to 4 pounds, because that's what Adrian needs. And then we need to multiply the 16 ounces by 4 as well. And if we do this, 6 times 4 is 24, carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So 4 pounds is going to be equal to 64 ounces of cherries. But again, we can keep going here, and we can say 3 pounds is equal to 48 ounces. And how I got that is I'm just adding another 16. So I add 16 to this, I add another 16, and then 4 pounds is equal to, if I add another 16, that gives us 64 ounces. So either way, we come up with the right answer, and it's right here. Adrian needs 64 ounces of cherries. Okay, number 3. Let's switch to green. Okay, number 3. Sophia just got a new trampoline that is 4 feet wide and 7 feet long. What are the width and length of the trampoline in inches? Write the dimensions in the place below for Andrew, or I guess for Sophia. There's a little mistake here. That's okay. So we're going to be picking from one of these 4 down here to put into here. Okay, so we know that her trampoline is 4 feet wide. Let's write that out. And 7 feet long. Oop, I did not spell long right. And if you want to, you can always draw that out if it helps you to kind of see things. You can draw out a trampoline. This would be equal to 4 feet right here. And this would be equal to 7 feet right here. Okay. Now we need to transfer this into inches, right? Because it wants to know how many inches this is. Well, most of you guys know a ruler. A ruler is 1 foot long, and it is also 12 inches long. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. So if we do just like we were doing with the other conversions, if we want to get to 4 feet, we would multiply this by 4. So if we do that to this one side here, then we need to multiply 4 to this other side here. 12 times 4, I may know this right off the bat, I may not. Some of you guys are able to use your multiplication charts, and that's fine. But if I don't know it, I could just do the regular multiplication math, right? 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 48 inches. Okay, so I know that 4 feet is equal to 48 inches. So that means that this piece right here, let me do this in a different color. This right here is also equal to 48 inches. So it's not only 4 feet, but it's 48 inches. Now I need to do it to the 7 foot side of the trampoline, right? So let me scoot up a little bit here. If I still know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, so then if I multiply that by 7, I get 7 feet here. And so I just multiply this by 7. And again, if I don't know what 12 times 7 is right away, some of you do, some of you don't, and that's okay. I can just do regular multiplication. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 times 7 is 7, plus 1 more is 8. So 7 feet is equal to 84 inches. So that means that this piece over here is also equal to 84 inches. So now going back to my answer, I see right here that 48 inches by 84 inches would be my answer. Okay, so that's what you would put in this box here. Maybe this one's like a drag and drop or something, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go on to, sorry guys. Let's go on to number 4. John says that a 50 milliliter container holds less than a 5-liter container. Is John correct? Circle yes or no. Oh, let's go back to our page here. Okay, so I know that 1 liter, is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so I'm going to kind of work a little bit, I guess, opposite or backwards here. Okay, so John says that 50 milliliter container holds less than 5 liters. Well, let's see. Okay, so if we had 1 liter, it would equal 1,000 milliliters. Oh, so I kind of know right there. Well, if it's 5 liters, because remember, if we times this by 5, we get 5, right? And then we times the other side by 5, and we're going to get 5,000 milliliters. So he says that 50 milliliters, only 50 milliliters, is less than 5 milliliters. Well, for sure, because 5 milliliters is 5,000. It's equal to 5,000 milliliters, right? Sorry, these are 5s, guys. So this would be yes. It is less than 5 liters. Okay, let's go on to number 5. Taylor has 3 kilograms of Takis. Ooh, you guys like those. That he will share equally with Ryan, Alyssa, and himself. How many grams of Takis will each person get? Okay, so let's look at this. He's got, what number is this? 5. He's got 3 kilograms of Takis. And we want to know how many grams of Takis each person will get. So I know that 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. So let's keep going with how we've been doing things. If I times this by 3, I get 3 kilograms, right? So I have to times the other side by 3. This will give me 3,000 grams. So 3 grams is equal to 3,000 grams. So he has 3,000 grams. And now there's a second part to this. So this is actually a 2-step problem. A 2-step problem. Because now I need to know how many grams each person gets. So there's Ryan, there's Alyssa, and then himself, Taylor. So this is how many grams that they're going to have, right? So let's do my second step in blue. They have 3,000 kilograms, but they need to divide it by the 3 of them, right? Divide it by the 3 of them. This is actually an easy division problem. We're going to do our DMS, B, and R. Let's scroll up a little bit. Okay, so like Mrs. Hall always likes to say, if I have 3 cookies and I have 3 friends, we can always say we have 3 Takis and 3 friends. I don't really care for Takis, so I like to say cookies. But this problem is talking about Takis. So we have 3 Takis and 3 friends. If I have 3 Takis and I have 3 friends, how many Takis does each friend get? That's pretty easy to think about, right? 1 goes to me, 1 goes to Ryan, 1 goes to Alyssa. I divided, check. Now I need to multiply. 1 times 3 is 3, check. Now I need to subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then I'm just going to keep bringing down a bunch of zeros, right? So that just means that a bunch of zeros go up here, 1,000. So each person gets 1,000 grams of Takis. So that would go in this box here. 1,000 grams is already there for you. If it's not there for you on the test, you do need to label that and put a G or put grams. Okay, let's go on to number 6. Let's do 6 in red. Circle the measure that is greater. Oh, I don't even need to really do too much work for this one. Okay, so circle the measurement that is greater. We have 38 ounces and 38 pounds. Okay, 1 pound, I think we talked about this earlier, is equal to, 16 ounces. Okay, right? 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. So if I need to get to 38 pounds, I can times this by 38 to get to 38 pounds, but then I have to times this by 38, right? This is a little bit trickier. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this to refresh your memory. So one would be standard algorithm. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry my 4. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 more is 12. Then I need my placeholder here is my 0 because I'm moving over into my tens column. 3 times 8 is, 3 times 6 is 18. I don't need that 4 anymore. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 more is 4. And then I'm going to add them up. Okay. My favorite way to do it, though, is the area model. And you guys, a lot of you guys liked the area model as well. So we can have 10 and 6 up here. Whoops, not 10 and 16, 10 and 6. So we don't need that one. And down here we can have the 30 and the 8. Remember, we're breaking it up, kind of like we're doing expanded form. 10 times 30, well, I know that 3 times 1 is 3. Add those 2 zeros. 30 times 6, well, I know that 3 times 6 is 18. Add my 0. 10 times 8, well, I know that 1 times 8 is 8. Add my 0. and then 8 times 6, which is 48. And then I'm going to add these up. It is a little bit more steps, but it's easier, and it's not too hard to stay on track. I think when you're doing this expanded algorithm, this one right here, sometimes it's kind of hard to, you can lose track easily. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 8 plus 8 plus 4, so we got 8 and 8, which is 16. 4 more, 17, 18, 19, 20. Carry my 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. Same answer, 608, 608. Whatever works for you is what you can do. So then this is going to be 608 ounces, okay? Now, I knew right away that 38 pounds was going to be greater, because I know that pounds is more than ounces. So when you talk about 38 ounces, that'd be like two containers of sour cream. 38 pounds would be like how much a 2-year-old weighs. So if you think about it, if you have 2 things of sour cream, 2 containers of sour cream, or a 2-year-old, the 2-year-old's going to weigh more, right? But I already know those things. You guys are just learning them. So if you need to do it like this, then if you need to do the work, then show the work. So 608 ounces is what you would need to be equal to 38 pounds. So 38 ounces is way less than the 38 pounds. So 38 pounds is going to be greater. All right, number 7. Matthew cut 1 yard of yellow string. Then he cut 2 9-inch lengths of white string. How many inches of string did Matthew cut in all? Okay, so yellow string. Actually, let's use the yellow for this. Take that one out. Yellow string was equal to 1 yard. Ooh, we might have to convert this, right? Because we need to say how many inches he has. Okay, so let's keep that in our mind. Let's use black for white, because white is not going to show up on my whiteboard. He also cut 2 9-inch lengths. So for the white, he has 9 inches, and then he has another 9 inches. And so I know right away he has 18 inches of the white. Okay. Now I need to figure out how many inches of the yellow he has. Okay, so when I look at 1 yard, I know that 1 yard is also equal to 3 feet. That may or may not help me. I don't know. If I can't think of how many inches 1 yard is equal to, this could help you. So if you didn't know that, you could use the 3 feet to help you, because then you would have to, what you would do is you would just convert the 3 feet into inches. And you know that 1 foot, let's just write it here. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, right? So let's continue with that. So let's say you didn't know that it was how many inches 1 yard is. So 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, but I need 3 feet. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 to get 3 feet. So then I have to multiply this by 3. And 12 times 3 is 36 inches. So now I have figured out, which you may have already knew, but 1 yard is equal to 36 inches. Okay, so now we can continue on. We have yellow yarn that Matthew has that is equal to 36 inches. And then we also have the white yarn that is equal to 9 inches plus another 9 inches, because he has 2 pieces. So we already added that up and got the 18 inches. So now we need to add the 18 inches to the 36 inches to see how many in all. If this number line here helps you, then by all means, you guys can use it. It's hard for me to use. I can't write on this document, so it's hard for me to use to actually help you with the study guide. So that's why I'm using my whiteboard, okay? So 18 plus 36, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 more is 5. So 18 inches for the white, and then 36 inches for the yellow, and that is 54 inches in all. So right here would be your answer, 54 inches. You would write that here, 54 inches. Okay, let's go on to number 8. There are 10 problems altogether, so we are almost done. Number 8, let's do that in red. Which measurement is greater than 75 centimeters? Ooh, okay. So we're going to have to look at every single one of these. We're not just going to find one or two. Maybe there's 3. I don't know. It says circle all that apply. So we need to actually do the work for all of them. Okay. So if we look at A, well, let's see, 75 centimeters. A is showing 75 milliliters. I'm sorry, millimeters. I thought that sounded wrong. Millimeters. Okay, so 1 millimeter, or I'm sorry, 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So if I have 75 centimeters, so I would need to times this by 75. So I would also need to times this by 75. And this looks, 10 times 75 looks a little hard, right? I'm sorry, guys. Let me move this over here. There we go. That looks a little hard, but really we're just going to add a 0 to the end of our 75 to make it 750. We've talked about that before. So 75 centimeters is equal to 750 millimeters. So is 75 millimeters greater? No way, because 750 is equal to. So we would need to be at 751 millimeters or more, okay? So A is not going to be one of our answers. Okay, let's look at B. 75 kilometers. Okay, so this is going to be fun. 1 kilometer is equal to 1 million centimeters. Crazy, huh? Okay, so if we have 75 kilometers, we times that by 75 to get 75 kilometers. Then we have times this by 75 to get 75 million centimeters. Okay, so is it greater? Is 75 kilometers greater than 75 centimeters? Okay, sorry guys, I had to exit out for a second and my dogs are barking. Okay, so 75 kilometers is the same as 75 million centimeters. So yes, this definitely is greater. So B is going to be one of our answers. Okay, so let's move on to C now. 1 meter. Okay, well, 1 meter is equal to, let's try this again, is equal to 100 centimeters. Okay, so 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Okay, so 100 centimeters is already more than 75 centimeters, right? 100 centimeters is more than 75 centimeters. And remember our question, it's saying what is greater than 75 centimeters? So if 100 centimeters is greater than 75 centimeters and 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, then yes, C would be greater as well. So this is going to be another one of our answers. So far we have B and C. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go to D. D is 750 millimeters. Ooh, didn't we do something earlier with that? Let's look. We had, right here. Oh, that was millimeters. Oh, I'm sorry. I did that again. Millimeters. It's millimeters, not milliliters. Okay, so we did do something right here. And look, we said that 75 centimeters was equal to 75 meters. Okay. So is 75 meters, or I'm sorry, 750 millimeters greater than 75 centimeters? No, it's actually equal to. So don't let this trick you. This is equal to. So D is not going to be one of our answers. It is equal to 75 centimeters. Okay, we have one last one. We have E, 75 meters. So 1 meter, we did something similar to this already as well. Where is it? 1 meter. Oh, right here. So 1 meter was 100 centimeters. We determined that. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Well, what if we had 75 centimeters? Remember earlier how we determined that 1 meter was 100 centimeters. So therefore, yes, it's definitely bigger because we need it to be greater than 75 centimeters, right? So now if they're given us 75 meters, that's way bigger, right? Okay. So what we would have to do, we get 75 here. Oop, I lost my pen. There we go. 75 centimeters here. If I multiply this by 75, 75 times 1 is 75. Add my zeros, that's a lot more centimeters. 7,500 centimeters is a lot more than 75 centimeters. So yes, E is going to be our answer as well. So our answers are going to be B, C, and E for number 8. Okay, number 9, we're almost done. We got 2 more. Number 9, let's switch it up and do green. Okay, match the length of the left to the equivalent length on the right for Leah. Okay, so we have 5 yards. Oh my goodness, why does it keep doing that? We have 1 mile. We have 18 inches. I'll move this up in just a minute. 36 inches. And we have 6 feet. Okay, now for this one, you kind of just have to know your conversions. So let's do blue on this side. So we have 5, 1 foot, 6 inches, 1 yard, 15 feet, and 2 yards. Okay, so you can do a little bit of math if you need to, but it is helpful just to kind of know your conversions to be able to do this quickly and efficiently, okay? So 5 yards. Well, earlier I talked about how I know that 5 yards, 1 yard was equal to 3 feet. So 5 yards, I times that by 5 to get 5 yards. So I times this by 5. 3 times 5 is 15 feet. Is that one of my answers? Yes, right here. So I can go from here down to here, draw my line. Now, if I didn't see 15 feet, I might think, okay, well, is it maybe inches that they're looking for? I don't know. So I have to kind of determine that. 1 mile. Ooh, well, I know that a mile is a lot. It's not just 1 foot and 6 inches. It's not just 1 yard. It's not just 2 yards. Because remember, 1 yard would be 3 feet. 2 yards would be 6 feet. So it has to be, 1 mile has to be 5,280 feet. So that must be how many feet you run when you're doing a mile around our track. Remember the 4 times around our track. Okay, 18 inches. Well, I know 18 inches is way less than a yard because 1 yard is equal to 3 feet and 1 foot is 12 inches. So maybe let's see if it's maybe this one, maybe 1 foot and 6 inches. Okay, well, if I have 18 feet, I know that, 18 inches. I know that 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. I'm not writing that very nicely. I'm sorry, guys. So 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. So I have a little bit more, right? So 12 inches plus how many more? Let's see. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Ooh, that's 6 more inches. So, oh, look at that. 1 foot, 6 inches. So I don't know how to stop it from doing that. Okay, so 1 foot, 6 inches, 1 foot, 6 inches right here. So 18 inches is 1 foot, 6 inches. Okay, now I have 1 yard. Ooh, remember earlier we did this? We did the 1 yard. So 1 yard, I'm going to do over here on this side. 1 yard was equal to 3 feet, right? 1 yard is also equal to 36 inches. Those are just things that I know. So you have to memorize these things. I don't see 36 inches here, but I do see, or I'm sorry, we have 36 inches. We have 36 inches right here. So 36 inches and 1 yard would be equal to each other. Ooh, but what about 6 feet and 2 yards? Does that make sense? If 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, so 1 yard and 3 feet, if I times this by 2 to get 2 yards, I have to times this by 2. Ooh, and that gives me 6 feet. So 6 feet is equal to 2 yards. All right, last one, number 10. Complete the table below to show equivalences. Okay. So we have meters and we have centimeters. So we have 5,000 centimeters and we have 200 centimeters and we have 1,200 centimeters. Okay, so we need to figure out how many meters this is. Okay. So I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Ooh, so remember earlier how I said we may be doing some division. I think this is where it comes into play. So if we have 5,000 centimeters, but we need to figure out how many meters that is. So can we divide the 5,000 and the 100? We could, right? So let's take this 5,000, divide it by 100. So this is like saying you have 5,000 cookies and 100 friends, okay? Well, if we only had 5 cookies, so if we just started with this 5 here, would we be able to share that among 100 people? No, only 5 people would get cookies, right? What if we did 50? If we had 50 cookies, could 100 people have it? No, only half the people would have it, right? Only half people would have cookies. So let's do 500. If we had 500 cookies, can we share that with 100 people? For sure, right? So how many would they get? Well, if I gave 100 to the first person, 100 to the second person, 100 cookies to the first 100 people, 100 cookies to the second 100 people, 100 cookies to the third 100 people, and 100, no, I'm saying this wrong. Okay, let's backtrack here. So if we have 500 cookies and we want to give them out to 100 people, how many cookies would each person get? So I would distribute 100 cookies to all 100 people, but then I still have 400 left, right? Then I'm going to give another 100 cookies, and I still have 300 left. Then I'm going to give them another 100 cookies. I still have 200 left. So eventually I'm going to get to 5. This is my division. Multiplying 5 times 100 is 500. Now I need to subtract 500 minus 500 is 0. Bring down my other 0. I brought down. Now my remainder, well, I don't really have remainder because 0 goes into 100. 0 times, so 50 would be how many cookies each person got. Okay. So does it make sense if we have 50 here for how many meters is equal to 5,000 centimeters. Well, let's check that. Let's check and see. So we have 50 meters, or let's start with, we have 1 meter, which is equal to 100 centimeters. If we times that by 50 to get 50 meters, and we times this by 50, okay, well, I know 1 times 5 is 5, and then I'm going to add my 3 zeros. Does that equal to 5,000? Yes. So 50 is our correct answer. Okay, I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to use a different color for my second part to this. So I have 200 now. Okay, so now I have 200 centimeters, okay? I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Ooh, this is kind of easy. I can just times this by 2, right, to get to 200 centimeters. But if I times this by 2, I have to times this by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2 meters. So that means that 2 meters is equal to 200 centimeters. That was a lot easier, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to use green for my last one. Okay, so I have 1,200 centimeters. Well, I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Ooh, so if I wanted to get to 1,200, I'm just going to multiply it by 12, right? Because 1 times 12 is 12. If I add my 2 zeros, I get to 1,200 or 1,200. So if I times this by 12, this gives me 1,200 centimeters, which is where I want to be at. Then I have to times this by 12. And that will give us 12 meters, because 1 times 12 is 12. Oh, I'm sorry, let me scroll up. So right here we have 12 meters is equal to 1,200 centimeters. Okay, so if we actually go back, I guess I did this with a little too much work in it the first time, right? If we go back to this first one and we have 5,000 centimeters, and we're not sure what it equals to, we can take that 1 meter and the 100 centimeters that it is equal to, and we could have times that by 50, right? 1 times 5 is 5, and I have 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 centimeters, and then I can times this side by 50 to get 50 meters. That would have been an easier way to do it than the way I did it previously. Okay, so this is the end of your study guide. I hope this helps you. It is just 10 problems, 10 problems that are very similar to the test that you are going to be taking on Friday. And I wish you all luck, and I hope this is helpful, and I will see you soon.